So I had some questions asked some time ago about concept art and visual development art. How to make visual development concept art. Well, I can tell you what I experienced back in the old studio day, and I was assigned as a concept artist of sorts, development artist, to come up with some backgrounds for a project they were doing at the studio. Action took place in a New York City block that had brownstones, and at the end of the block was a Victorian house where the main characters lived. But I had not been to New York in a while at that point, so I went to a store and bought this book, American Architecture, and this became my field guide, so it says up here. This became my reference book for looking at all kinds of American architecture. And in the table of contents, it's broken down, so it even had Victorian stuff. I did buy a book about Victorian houses just to see about getting special details right on it. And just looking through books like this gave me a sense of different kinds of houses around the country and different design styles. So doing visual development art is basically research. Now, in those days, there was no internet. There was only bookstores and libraries. There was a point where Corny Cole was working with us on a show, and they gave him an office, and he filled that office with, I think, 3 or 4 bookcases full of books from his personal collection for reference, research, and inspiration. You guys don't have to go through that now. You can look it all up on the interwebs and find any pictures you need. So as you see here, we're looking at Queen Anne Victorian houses. Here's a plan for this building here, the Stuyvesant Apartments in New York. And you see a front elevation and then the plan of what it looks like for each apartment, probably on the first floor. So books like this can give you an insight as to stuff that you need to find. So if you want to do visual development or concept art, get your research together. If you're doing some project that has New York City in it or any other town, you can find that on the internet and start doing your background drawings based on what you find. So I had this book, and I figured, well, since I live in Los Angeles and I hear people say reference to California bungalows, I found this book, which is all these plans and elevation drawings for California bungalows that were done in the 20s. And as you can see, here's a house here, and here's the plan for that house. And what people did back in the old days was you bought the plans for the house for $10, usually from Sears or a store like that, Montgomery Ward. And then you had a general contractor figure out all the materials and more detailed plans, and they would build the house on the spot that you had bought. So this gave me an insight as to what these old-fashioned bungalows look like in Los Angeles Because where I was living at the time in North Hollywood, there were some old-fashioned bungalows, but not a lot. And if you get a book like this, then you can start doing your artwork based on this real reference material. So this is the importance of doing research for visual development and concept art. Is going out there on the internet and finding the images that you need, or going out to an actual neighborhood, finding the houses that you want to use in your art, taking pictures, doing drawings. That's just for backgrounds. Now, if you're doing character development, like monsters and stuff, then you need to have some kind of books that are all about animals. You could even get books about creatures that have already been designed. So, get my pencil here. If you're doing something with aliens, then you need to have background material on what's already been done so that you don't copy it. We used to think aliens would have gigantic eyes and maybe antenna. They may or may not have a nose. Maybe their mouth is distended, almost like an anteater. And they have a hunchback. Maybe their body goes down to a ball here at the bottom like this. And they have some strange legs attached. Like this. So this is based on some kinds of animals and insects that we see every day. And if you're working for yourself, then it's all up to you as to how it's going to look. If you're working for the boss, then you've got to start doing, you have to have conversations with him to find out, well, what's he looking for? So that you don't waste your time doing stuff that he doesn't really want. And maybe he's walked from back here, and they've got some weird looking ship, which you start by doing basic shapes. Maybe there's weird lights on it. So the basis for this might be Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1978, where they have these really odd looking ships that were zipping around. More lights. There's some kind of weird door back here. that he just walked out of. So just do your research, do your talks with your boss or yourself. Write down details. So everything will start with the written word and descriptions. What's this for? How does it work? And you get all that out of the way first, because it's a lot easier writing down that stuff than it is drawing it. And maybe back here there's some trees. Do basic shapes first. Fill in your details later. Maybe there's bushes back here. There's a blast radius from where it landed. Some of the dirt's turned to glass or something. Maybe there's still smoke coming up from it. So, like I said, everything starts with research first, finding out what the boss wants, writing down descriptions of everything, and then you do your artwork, and you just go from there, and you just start drawing what you feel will satisfy the needs of the project. So keep that stuff in mind, and we'll do more about visual development and concept art later on. In the meantime, keep drawing.